welcome. My name is Jack, and this is European Ship Simulator. It's a bit different to the genres that I play on my channel, but I thought we'd check it out. I'm just going to do a brief introduction because I actually have too much time to record today, and I thought if I do a quick intro, that'd be better than nothing. I'll show you some of the features and I'll talk a bit about what's happening in this game. It's just been released on Steam and Steam Early Access, and I'll talk about the updates they're going to be putting out for it. So, essentially, it's just a ship simulator. It's just going to be really hard to pronounce it every time I say it. And I'm just going to start moving, and I'll explain a bit about what the game gives you as we go along. Right in. So, in this mission here, we're playing as a tugboat. And if I jump into the... there's a couple of different camera modes. I'm going to jump to the outside camera. And you can see here, I'm just trying not to knock the wharf there, because that's always not good. And at the moment, it's pretty much the missions. I've got tugboats, so I need to pull things in. And then the other two were getting to a certain location, one in fine weather with a big boat, the other one in not so fine weather. Currently, it releases with 3 different boats and 2 different ports in 3 missions. And those are across the sea. And I haven't actually gotten all the way across yet, because it's probably quite a distance. But I haven't managed that just yet. Let me turn a bit sharper now. Crank up the power a bit more. Yeah, we look good. Neat. And so it's just a little teaser of what the game is it's going to contain in its full release. Their aim is to release a new update every 2 weeks with at least new content until early 2015. And the idea is that they'll have 5 more ships with 5 more ports, and then a mission editor and Steve achievements in around February 2015, which is coming soon, right? We can crank this now. I think we want to be heading out that way there. So let's turn this thing around. What have we got in terms of controls? Well, we can do the old-fashioned, control from the cockpit here, and we can turn on lights. The most important switch is this one. Very important there. It seems like there's a bit of glitching going on with my mouse, appearing in the middle as I click. That wasn't there when I was playing by myself without recording. So just take that as a recording glitch, and we'll continue on. But I like the orbit because it actually gives you quite a good view of what's happening. So we've got different controls here which I can manipulate if I want to using the mouse, and I can actually manipulate them independently, which is it can be quite useful. I'm just going to reset them so they're matching. And so what you can do, you can use one engine more powerful than the other to do a particular turn. Now I can just use WASD to control these, but there are key bindings, and I can quickly show you. Oh gosh, the boat's still going. And you can set them all to whatever you like. And supposedly there is a type of gear, it was in the email, I can't remember, but there's a type of gear set up that you can plug in and it works with the game, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to crank up the RPM. Now you notice down here I've got 3,500 RPM. That's what I wanted to be at, and this is what the boat's currently, the engine's revving up. Because if I take that down, it's going to be like, oh, okay, I got to bring it down again. We'll leave it at the max speed. And then below that is the angle I want to be pointing at, and the angle it's turning towards. So I can say go over here, and it'll slowly turn. Oh gosh, let's do a bit of a drift around here. Right, at the moment our current objective is just to get out to that marker, and I'm just going to get out to the marker, and then there's an oil tanker, I'm pretty sure it is, out further out in the bay, and you can go up to it and tug it. So you can connect ropes at certain points, and then connect it to something else. And then you can just start pulling the boat in. And it'll be quite a challenge to try and get it around these points here of the head. There's a map down here which we can use. I don't usually have that open though. Right, once I've got this and pointing in the right direction, we can look around the ship. But the other missions are a bit more interesting, and I jump into those because they control much larger ships. And I think that's much more interesting because it's not just 2 controls. And while I can use these independent of each other, the other one makes it a lot more interesting. So, we can jump inside the ship here, and this is in the walk-around mode. And currently you can't actually go outside the ship. Oh, well, I can bounce through the roof there. But it'd be quite neat if you could actually walk around on your ship. I can still control everything. Let's use the most important. There we go. But you've got your locked-in mode, and that means you can use the WASD controls to actually control the steering like I am now. It's pretty neat. They've got planned for the following dates on 28th of November, 1 new ship and 2 new missions. No, 1 with new missions. Sorry, it doesn't actually say. It's just plural. So I presume it's 1 or 2, maybe 3. And on the 5th of December, another port with some new missions. So I think once the mission editor comes out, you'll give a lot more opportunity to do whatever you really want to. But these games really do target a particular audience. If you enjoy, I think Euro Truck Simulator is a good one. I found that really relaxing, and it's kind of, I find it a bit weird where a lot of truck drivers say, I come home, I've driven all day, and what I want to do is just drive Euro Truck Simulator. And I could kind of understand that, but I remember listening to a comedian, and he was saying, I'm playing a video game, and I was waiting, it was Grand Theft Auto, and he was waiting a car in the queue of the road, and I come home to relax, and I'm waiting in a queue, in a car. But there's something about that, I think, that's just, there's no real life pressure, and you can just sit back and enjoy it. And that's why I really enjoyed Truck Simulator. The Boat Simulator, I think it's a bit less involved with these smaller boats, because with a car you've got to be constantly adjusting. With this here, I'm hands-free, I'm just rolling through. But in a moment we'll go to a much bigger boat, and especially when you're in the port, well, there's a lot more control that's needed. And I think once you get into the open water, I don't know how much you're going to do in terms of if there's emergencies with your boat. Down the bottom there, that's the tanker we'll be pulling out. But we've got health, let's say state of the boat. Health makes it sound so gamey. We've got fuel levels and we've got our current speed. Well, that's what I presume it is. It's never told us. So we can go out to this boat here and control it. But we're not going to do that because I'm going to make this video short. What I'd like to do is to highlight some of these other ones. Now we've got, I'll quickly jump into this one. It will load up. We won't actually move anywhere. But we've got, here we go. Once it loads it all in, we've got poor weather conditions. And if I turn on all the lights and the cabin lights, let's jump out. You can actually, there are actually effects because of the weather, and when you take this out into the open water, you do feel the waves coming, and the objective is like way out on the horizon. But it's cool feeling those waves. But the one we're going to play a little bit of here, and we won't actually go anywhere, but we'll just try and control it, and I'll show you the manipulation that you need to do it. And if that sounds kind of fun, you can check this game out for yourself. But it's pretty cool to play around with. Is the passenger ferry. Rightio. So this thing's pretty massive. We don't actually use all these things on the dash. It's essentially these 5. If I jump into this view here, you can see them there. Now, I was messing around before, and I nearly crashed into the ship. It doesn't look like it's turning towards me, but we'll get out of its road. We've got so much RPM. But then again, we are so massive. And just look at the speed. It's slowly revving up. We've got our wheel, which can only turn at a very small arc. Alright, let's just try and get out of the ship here. Oh, look at that RPM rev up. Imagine the time that it would take to slow down once this thing's at top speed. You'd really have to put on the brakes, just reverse the propulsion. We've got to dock by a certain amount of time, and dock 25 is there. We can try and make our way over. Which side of the dock is it? Is it on this side? Oh, what's it? Oh. Why isn't it working? There we go. Sorry, that's just really important. Okay, so let's bring down the RPM. Now, what we've got down here on the side is we've got a set of engines. Oh, I wasn't watching. I am turning like there's no tomorrow. A set of engines at the front and a set of engines at the back. And by using one of them, say if I turn this one on to the side, this part of the ship would start turning and this would stay central. So, oh, there's a tugboat. Oh, there's a tugboat. So I've got reverse RPM on just to try and slow down the speed. Oh my gosh. Look how long it's taking. Now let's just confirm while we're here. Oh, that's on the other side. It is on the other side. Okay. Our speed's actually building up again. Well, we can see if we can get... Now, what I was trying to say before, with these modes, it's spin around. So it's kind of like a hand moving. This would stay central and this one would move around. But in combination, I could use the other one and put it in the other direction, then would kind of spin on the spot. That was like a massive stingray down there. And then, maybe if I want both of them... Oh! In combination, I could have both of them go in the same direction, and then would kind of just move in a... Well, parallel, just like shuffling like a crab, I guess. Let's see if we can actually pull into port here. This is going to be a bit crazy. I think we should take it nice and slow. So let's lower that RPM down to just 1200. Just still quite a lot. Let's start cranking this thing in. Okay, we've brought that speed down a lot, which is good. We're slowly turning it in. Probably turn off that giant floating arrow. I like how, though, there is a... Or if I turn it back on again. There is a massive reflection. That does look cool. Right. In New Zealand, it's separated into 2 islands with very creative names, the North Island and the South Island. And there is a boat, pretty much like this one. There's 2 of them, and maybe a third, or they're still using the hydrofoil. I can't remember, but 2 of these massive boats that take trains and cars. And I've travelled on it plenty of times. I've actually driven in there quite a few times with cars, but mostly as a passenger between the islands. We need to turn and... I put it just on reverse to slow down a little bit. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push numpad 5, which is just a reset. And what I'm going to do there, our speed should drop to nothing. Perfect. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one here. It should be the front. And if I do that, what should happen... Very slow. If you notice here, up here, this is coming a bit. Oh, I got to go forward a bit as well. But this part here of the ship is actually twisting. It's twisting around like a clock. And actually, I probably could spin this one this way. I presume it just says go to the right. This part should make this part of the ship start spinning around. Let's put that a bit more to 0. We should be turning probably as well with the thrust that we've got. We'll line this baby up and pull it in. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Stop everything. I just realized something. Oh, actually, no, we might be fine. Oh, what way do they want the ship in? Is it front in or back in? It's usually back in, because this thing here goes into here. But there's also a thing at the front. Does it say? I don't know much about boats. I would say it would go reverse in. Please proceed to dock 2. Well, I gotta say, considering the way that we're facing, let's just try and go front in. And we can always do a quick reverse. 360. No, 180. 360 would put us in the same direction. Kind of a bit pointless. Alright, let's crank that RPM up. Oh, it's so going to be the other direction. Oh, well. Okay. Let's bring it in. Crank it. Let's churn in there. It's so going to be the other direction. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Let's reverse up. Just gotta... Okay. Just gotta get that low speed on. If I stop everything, we'll crank these 2 to the right. Not as much on the back, so we want to kind of straighten it up. You'll notice we're actually moving along, which is pretty nifty. Let's say 400 on both. Actually, it's kind of small considering what it could be doing. 835. Yeah, that's good. Hey, it's a seagull. Oh, I just moved the camera right out of field of view. Let's go a bit forward as well. It's like going right on track. Might need to decelerate. Okay, hold. Please stop. Please stop. Stop crashing. Bit of reverse. Okay, stop. Which way are we going still? Are we stopped? It said... Oh, please support the port exit. Hey, we actually managed it. So I don't think it mattered in this one if it was forward or backwards. Thank goodness for that. So now what you'd have to do is reverse out, head on out, and probably go to the other port, which is way out on the horizon. I presume that's what this weird glitch I'm getting, which was in before I was doing the recording, which I presume is the like land on the horizon, which I just can't see. Anyway, this is a quick look at European Ship Simulator. It's a pretty neat game. It's probably not my cup of tea, but I think it's, you know, pretty cool, and it can be a lot of fun, especially trying to control these massive ships. It's more like a puzzle in these tight areas. And I definitely know there will be people who enjoy these games. They're massive in Europe. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you later.